Alright, good morning, Lock Boss community, nation. Sorry it's still early. Um, so, dusted off the old 3D printer after the CLKSupplies live stream with PJ this week, and he showed a Lockvoy block print. So I figured, why not record doing it? So I'm just going to go through the basic. I've already printed one of these out, but I figured I would just, for those of you not familiar with 3D printing, what actually goes into it. So from Thingiverse, I have downloaded the files here. So let's go ahead and extract those. So one thing to point out is everything from Thingiverse should have a README file. I think it's part of their requirements, but it is not part of their requirements that it actually contains anything. A lot of them are automatically generated. It'll give you where to go to download the file you've already downloaded. But always check this, because a lot of times the designer of the files you've downloaded may have suggestions as far as the fill density, speed, and things like that. So there's nothing here, so we're just going to go with my standard setup. So we have looks like the two files for the clamshell type pinning tray, and we have a support block. I use Ultimaker Cura as my slicer. So what the slicer does is it takes this file and it slices it into printable layers. So you get a nice 3D representation here of what it should look like. Okay. So just gonna double check my settings here. And these are ones that I usually go with and work, so let's slice it. Okay, so now we're going to save this file. That is not where I wanted to save it to. Okay. Not enough caffeine yet. There we go. So, yep. Where I want to save it. Okay, so now we're going to do that. Now with my 3D print setup, it started off life as an Anet A6, just a cheap Chinese printer, and I have a Raspberry Pi with Octoprint loaded on it and connected. The Octoprint just serves as the interface and kind of print server. So the printer is completely separate from my computer. I don't have the printer cable connected in and running it through this machine. I did that so it can be completely autonomous of what I'm doing at my computer. And it's just a nice program, and makes managing the print jobs easier. And for whatever reason my computer gets turned off, reboots, because Microsoft updates never does that at the wrong time. It'll keep running, and I just access it through a web browser. So let's go to Locksmith. We're going to upload that file we just did, which should have been A6 support block. Okay. Now we're going to tell it to print. So I did do a test print earlier. Anytime I switch filament colors, I always do just a calibration print, which is this guy. Hopefully that shows up. So here's the one I've already printed. Figure it's Christmas time. Let's go with some Christmas colors. So right now what it's doing is the print bed, this thing right here, it's heated, and that just helps the whatever material you're printing with adhere to the bed, so that as it's printing it doesn't get knocked off and around. So that's going to go up to, and sorry, I'm not great at converting Celsius to Fahrenheit, but let's just say warm. So it's going to heat that print bed, this right here, up to 60 degrees Celsius. And once that's up and nice and toasty, the tool, that's the extruder. That's where the liquid or the melted plastic comes through. That's going to get up to, I think I have these set to about 190 or so Celsius, so something you don't want to touch barehanded. So let's fast forward through this part. So one thing I watch for as the extruder here starts heating up is you're going to start having drippage. Oh, and if you happen to see something orange and white in this area, that would be my office buddy, my cat Lucky. When this thing starts going, he loves watching it. So right now you're looking related things. So I used to have a webcam connected to my Raspberry Pi that would do really good quality time-lapse videos of this. Somehow the cord got chewed. Not saying my cat Lucky, who's in the tree right here, could have been the cause of that. So I've got a Raspberry Pi camera as a backup, so hopefully it's not too choppy. But as this starts getting hotter, I feel some fast forwarding coming on. Okay, so it just kicked in the tool to heat. It's actually, I think I got it, 200 degrees Celsius. So there's a target, and then we'll see a little line here of the actual temperature of it. And it doesn't take long at all for this thing to heat up. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, fast forward now. No. Just snatch that piece off real quick. Looks like we should be good. So the first thing it's doing is it's doing a outline of the area, and it'll do 3-4 layers of this, and that's just to get that nozzle primed and ready. As you can see, a little clunky chunky. And here we go. So I'm going to cut over to the time lapse for the rest of this. All right, so pardon me. So we're getting down to the end of this, and you can see we're approaching 3 hours, and that's not uncommon. But one thing I did want to point out is, let's go. So in Thingiverse, you can tip the designer. Basically, send them like a tip or thanks for the work. I tried doing that. Translucent does not have their account set up to receive tips. So I did send a notification that I'm trying to send them a tip, a thank you. But I did look a little bit closer in the Translucent's profile. It looks like he's got quite a few designs out there. So maybe worth checking out and following him. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in.